Good afternoon, guys. It is April 30th, 2025. Um, on this video, I want to talk about the obsession with people always wanting to move forward. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is the obsession with technology, the obsession with we have to constantly move forward. We have to move with the times. We have to constantly move forward. And I'm not saying that there's not a place for that, but there is an over obsession with engineering and always wanting more, always wanting new, always wanting something different instead of just leaving stuff alone. You know, now, in my opinion, electronic devices should remain electronic devices, and appliances and machines and cars should remain appliances, machines and cars. And people have become so obsessed with, well, we have to move forward with technology. We have to move forward with technology. We have to change the design of everything to fit with the modern times. We have to add this feature, that feature, this feature, that feature. No, you don't. Honestly, what feature is so important to you that you sacrifice simplicity and reliability? It doesn't even make sense. You know, people are always like, well, I gotta have modern technology and everything. Let me ask you a basic question. What are you gaining? What are you gaining with a modern machine with Wi-Fi compatibility, connects to your phone, computer-based crap? What are you gaining? Nothing. You just added a ridiculous thing that's gonna break. That's all you did. You know, what is the purpose of that? You know, seriously, what is the purpose of that? What is the job of a washing machine? It's to wash your clothes. That's all it does. So why is adding all of these extra things, like what benefit does that have? There is no benefit other than it's just cool and there's some extra features and stuff like that. There's no purpose in it. And people become so obsessed with stuff like that. I mean, it's not just washing machines and dryers, it's everything. Everything. It's cars, it's dishwashers, it's refrigerators, I mean, it's everything. You name it. There's like, oh, you gotta connect to an app. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. For what reason? What the flip? It makes no sense. Because all these machines are designed to do is to do one job. A refrigerator's job is to keep your food fresh and cold and frozen. That's it. That is it. There's zero reason for all this crazy crap. There is zero reason for cameras in your refrigerator that connect to your phone. Zero. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I mean, honestly, when you step back and you take a look, when you start thinking with common sense here, and this is just common sense, I'm not talking about like, you know, opinion here. I'm talking about just really look at things and think to yourself, what is the purpose of this? You know, a washing machine is meant to wash and drain and spin your clothes out. That's all it's doing. So, why do we need extra stuff? A dryer. It's literally heating and tumbling your clothes. That's all it's doing. Why do we need all these devices and stuff connected to it? A dishwasher. You load it up, you put a pod, detergent in it, and a pod of detergent, the gel detergent, whatever you use, you close it up and you start it, and then an hour or two later you come back, you open it up, you unload it, and you put away dishes. There's really no sense to it. All the stuff is just making these machines more expensive, first of all. Way more expensive to buy in the first place. Second of all, it's making them way too complicated to where you're just asking for more things to break. You're just asking for more problems. And then parts and stuff, if they're available, if you're lucky, they may not always be available because some of the stuff is just so nuts and outrageous that they don't even put the effort into making replacement parts. But if you're lucky to be able to get parts, they're so expensive, they're almost the price of the machine itself. It's ridiculous. And so you're asking for more repairs. You're asking to spend more money up front, first of all, for the machine. You're asking for more things than necessary in a machine to begin with, which complicates the entire process. And quite frankly, it's just a headache. I mean, it's just a freaking headache. All I want is simple. That is it. I refuse to put up with this modern garbage. I refuse. Absolutely refuse. If I can't fix it, if it's not going to last, if it's overly complicated, I will not buy it. End of story. That's just the way it is. And a lot of people have been brainwashed into thinking that this is all normal. And part of when I say that, part of what they think is normal is they think it's normal for things to last 5, 7, 8 years at the most, and then they replace it. That is not normal. That should never be normal. That's a freaking scam, is what that is. You pay $1,500 for a refrigerator, and you only get 5, 7, 8 years out of it, and you think that's okay? I don't think so. If you're paying that kind of money, you should be getting at least 20 years out of something like that, at the very minimum. I mean, seriously. But people don't think much of it. They just think, oh, well, I guess it's broken and it needs to be replaced. It's just the way it is now. No, if we would actually stand up. Sorry, my allergies are bugging me. If we would actually stand up to these manufacturers and we would say, no, we don't want this crap, and people would stop buying this garbage, eventually the manufacturers would have to eventually rethink and stuff, because they're going to be like, oh, we're not making sales, people aren't buying this. But the problem is, people aren't doing that. They think everything modern these days and so-called convenient is just the way to go, and they don't think twice of it. It doesn't bother them to spend $3,000 on a refrigerator only to have it for like 5 to 8 years. I'm sorry, but if I'm paying that kind of money, I demand decades of service out of something. If I'm paying thousands of dollars for something, I demand decades of service to make it even worth my money. But nope, people, they just want what they want, and they're not really worried about the cost too much. All they want is just cool, modern, convenient. That's all they care about. That's a real problem. You know, back in the day, I'll tell you what I want. I want to see appliances that were actually made well, that were simple and reliable in quality. I'm going to use this as an example. My grandmother, back in 1997, she moved into, a senior citizens mobile home park, for retirement. And she decided to buy, at the time, a brand new Maytag washer and dryer. Top load Maytag washer and dryer. Very high quality. They were the simple, all mechanical knobs, everything like that. I'm going to tell you, those are the smoothest, to this day, those are the smoothest machines I have ever seen in my life. They were quiet, quality, and they just worked. And the last time I saw them was 5 years ago, in 2020, and you want to know what? They were still working perfectly. 0 issues. So you're talking over 20 years of good, faithful, reliable service. Not even the slightest issue. But these days, you can't even get anything like that. I mean, not unless you get like something like a Speed Queen or something, but even those are questionable at times. I'm telling you, I'm tired of this modern junk. I am sick and tired of it. And I don't know why people aren't sick and tired of it. I know there's a lot of people that are, but there's a lot of people that are just, well, it's just the way it is. You just gotta move with the times. You gotta move up in modern technology and stuff. It's the same thing with cars. It's like people are so obsessed with, oh, it's gotta be more efficient. It's gotta be, higher end. It's gotta have all these features and stuff. And oh, God forbid you have to actually put a key in the ignition switch and turn it to start it. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's unfortunate, but I mean, that's kind of where we are these days. What your average consumer wants is something with a lot of features that'll work, and they don't think twice of it. They don't think about long term. They don't think about later down the road if something needs to be repaired. They don't think about any of that. And that's the case with everything, with cars, with appliances, with everything. The repairs are going to be outrageously expensive the more complicated you go. And sometimes it's going to be like almost impossible to get a repair significantly cheaper than it would be to replace it. How is that in any way, shape, or form helping anybody? That's not helping anybody but these massive corporations that want to continually sell, and sell. They don't want you to repair things. They don't want you to have things for 30 years. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. And I'm not buying this crap. It's not happening. I mean, it is not happening. I mean, I would much rather have something from the 1980s, the 1990s, and the 2000s that was actually built decent and that actually runs. I mean, because that's all I want at the end of the day. Yeah, I understand that things break. I understand that things happen. That's part of life. I'm not upset about that. There's wear and tear. Things break. It happens. But what I'm upset about is how freaking complicated everything has become. How expensive everything has become. It doesn't even make sense. It truly does not make sense. And it just costs you more money in the long run. It costs you more money in repairs. It costs you more money in replacement. And it's just a constant. Whereas back in the day, like, grandpa, they bought, their refrigerator, their stove, their washer, their dryer, all that stuff once, and they had it for 50 years. No problem. We need to go back to basics. We need to go back to simple. And stop with this modern crap. We really do. I think all of the fancy high-tech stuff needs to be removed. Or, here, I would put it this way. If people want that, that's their choice, okay? But don't make it dominate the entire market. Split it 50-50. Build simple, mechanical, quality machines, cars, everything like that, to give as an option for those of us like myself who actually appreciate that stuff. Because not everybody in this world is gonna like that. That's just the way it is. And I'm certainly not one of them. I despise this modern crap. I'm disgusted with it. It's frustrating. It's irritating. It drives me insane. But yet people don't care. They think, oh, it's normal. That's just the way the world is. No. The world doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. If we were able to build things to last that were simple and just freaking got the job done 20, 30 years ago, we can do that right now. You cannot tell me that we can't do that. Because we absolutely can. Darn well. I'm telling you, we need to bring back simplicity. So, anyway, I just thought I would come on here and vent that, because that's been an irritation of mine for years. For years and years. And unfortunately, I don't see anything being done about it. And, at the end of the day, I just wish people would take these things more seriously. They would appreciate the simple. Because sometimes appreciating the simple is the easiest in life. It just is. So, anyway, enough of my rambling. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please click the thumbs up. And please subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.